Now we will start. Now previously we have learned how laws made where, how laws are made, what is the importance of parliament, why do we need a parliament under the heading of that topic. We learn what is parliament, then what are these three important functions. In first function, very first important function is formation of government is done by the parliament in the parliament. Then second, to guide to control the functioning of government, and third is lawmaking, that we have learned previously, correct? So related to that and continuing with that, this is understanding laws. And we have discussed in the previous lecture how the bill is get converted into a law, that all we have seen. Now what these laws are, do laws apply to all? Now you have started writing the practice test 1, where this is rule of law question is asked to you, and most of you have written it correctly. So do laws apply to all, yes or no? So this is the content what you are going to revise from the textbook. Now next, do laws apply to all? So it's all goods. The citizens have voted, the winning candidates have become members of the parliament, a government has been formed, and the other elected members of the parliament are in the position. This is what we have learned in the previous lesson, correct? Next, what next? What is their day-to-day job? Like we learn in the last chapter, they pass bills when the parliament session is in session. The parliament is in session for only 67 days in a year. Okay, yes, that day I told you it is 65, but it is 67 days in a year they work. But the rest of the days they don't work. Is it so? No, they do work. But actual sessions do not means those sessions do not get conducted in the rest of the days. Only in the year 67 days these sessions get conducted. But they do work more than just those 67 days. What is that work? Consider this. A country needs all kinds of bills, right from rules of vehicles and insurance to rules for companies and partnership firms to rule against the child labor and child marriage, right up to rules against domestic violence and terrorist act in the country. Means these are few examples they have given us on which issues we are in a need to make laws. So these are the few examples given to us, but there are still n number of examples where we can have a set of laws based on that. हा आता आपण साधं बाहेर गेलो तरी आपल्याला ट्रॅफिक सिग्नल फॉलो करायला लागतो, करेक्ट? तो नाही केला तर तुम्हाला दंड आहे. तुम्ही रेल्वेने कुठे प्रवास केला नाही, प्रवास करत असाल आणि तुम्ही रेल्वेचं तिकीट नाही काढलं तरी तुम्हाला दंड आहे, करेक्ट? सो दीज आर ऑल स्मॉल थिंग्स which are going to be have ruled by this rule of law. These are going to be kept in check by this set of laws. Next, does each of the almost 800 members of parliament know everything about all these topics? हे possible आहे का प्रत्येक parliamentary memberला सगळ्या प्रत्येक गोष्टींची माहिती असणं? To some extent it is not correct. How they vote on it if they don't have the knowledge? In addition, there is a pressure to vote as per their party's ideology, even if they might not agree, because they believe to some party and that party has some ideology. I have told you this in live class when this lecture, this topic was going on. What is ideology means? Means they have fixed set of principles on which they want to work. So that we call it as ideology. And if it is not as per their ideology, they may not be agreed on that points, but sometimes they have to. What do you understand by the term rule of law? This is very easy. You are writing already in the practice test. All of you have written, mostly of you have written it correct answer. Huh? What happened? Why you are writing no, no, no? What is that? Stakeholders. Tarun, we will discuss about it. Who are all stakeholders? So the member of the Constituent Assembly instituted several provisions in the Constitution that would establish the rule of law. The most important of this was that all persons in independent India are equal before the law. This all you have written it correct. The rule of law means that all laws apply equally to all citizens of the country and no one can be above the law. Okay? Any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment as well as a process through which the guilt of the person has to be established. Now, if you look at this set of words, rule of law. Now, you may find rule and law means both are the words meaning are almost same. But what it means actually, rule of law means to follow a law is a rule. Or what is the rule of law? To follow it. And it is equal for all citizens. So, this is the meaning of rule of law, where it is made in the parliament in the presence of member of constituency, and they passed on, and it will be followed by each individual, and it will be equally applicable to each citizen. So that is the answer for this. And whoever will means violate these laws, they will be punished as per the judiciary, what we have learned in the judiciary lesson. State two reasons why historians refute the claim that British introduced the rule of law in India. This is also very easy answer. So most of you have answered correctly during your regular assignments. It is often believed that it was the British colonialists who introduced the rule of law in India. But was it the case? Actually, it was. They have started some, but the national movement, they worked towards it, and they made some changes for the participation, to increase the participation in the functioning of government. Historians have disputed this claim on several grounds, two of which include first, that colonial law was arbitrary, and second, that the Indian nationalists play a prominent role in the development of the legal sphere in British India. Correct? So, arbitrary means, I have explained you the meaning of arbitrary also. Means it is vague, it is for the benefits of British rule only, it is not in favor of Indians, so that is arbitrary. So this is all about the first PPT. Now I will show you the second. Is it visible? How do new laws come about? So there is again a process what we have learned previously. Herein come committees. For each bill, a parliamentary committee is formed. The Speaker of the House, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha appoints a few members of parliament to form these committees. Now in the previous lesson, if you remember, we have seen those stepwise process, how a bill get converted into a law. But there we have not talked about who all are participating in that process. Correct? So here we are going to talk about who all are the members, who are all the group of people who are a part of that debate, who are part of that discussion. This is told you in this lesson. Okay. So the Speaker of the House, I have shown you where the Speaker of the House sits, where is the sitting arrangement. If you remember the picture, huh? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha appoints a few members of parliament to form this committee. Means out of these MP, there will be a committee again formed, huh, to discuss about the bill and to pass a law. These members are chosen such that all parties and relevant stakeholders are represented. A stakeholder is any person who might be impacted by the thing under consideration, in this case, the bill. Now, here they have talked who all are now that group of who all are those group of people who are part of that process. Now the first one we learn about the committee members. So committee members are again out of the MPs who are elected. Correct? Now next one, who is next group of people, that is stakeholders. Now who are all these stakeholders? Who are impacted, who has some problem, who want to get it resolved. So those are stakeholders. And another thing, then there will be some experts who are part of that discussion. So if the bill is about vehicle pollution, vehicle owners, vehicle manufacturers, vehicle part manufacturers would be some of the stakeholders. So understand the meaning of stakeholders. They have given us the example of vehicle pollution bill. They want to pass it in parliament, and to pass a bill on that, all these people who are manufacturing those vehicles, those uh, vehicle manufacturer who are owning those, then who are manufacturing the parts of those vehicles, all these will be the stakeholders. Correct? So each clause or paragraph of the bill is considered one by one. By this, they take expert opinions and opinions of representatives of the people who are affected by the bill. So here comes the expert also. The first one is committee members out of member of parliament. Second is stakeholder. Third is you have to write about the speaker of the house also. Then the fourth one is expert. So these are the people involved in this process. They always they analyze these opinions. This is done over days and even months. After all, the bill might affect the lives of the 1.3 billion citizens of the country. They then generate a report collectively. This report might contain amendments to the original bill. So this also I have explained you what is amendments means. If existing law is already there, but if you want to make some changes in that, changes should be again noted down, and those amendments should be also made in the original bill. Okay. In this report, there is no mention of what each member said during the committee meeting. Sometimes a committee member might have an objection to a particular part of the bill as proposed. He or she can send a letter of dissent stating its disagreement. This report is presented to the Parliament and to the public at large for comment along with dissent notes. Now, here the fifth group of people are involved over here. Now, who all are they? It is a public. Huh? If they are not agreeing on that, they can pass a dissent note, means they are not ready to accept those changes. So here a public is also involved over here, and the procedure repeats. The advantages system are it takes public opinion into consideration, correct? So this is the advantage of this system. It takes public opinion into consideration. The discussions are detailed and not superficial. The advantages of this system are the members of the parliament doesn't have to worry about politics and can focus on demands of his or her own constituents. There is no actual voting here. Members of parliament become more accountable, means how they are putting that for problem and getting it solved. So here the accountability of member of parliament is also considered. Okay. The disadvantages of this system are is slows the process down. In reality, the committees are not used and bills are just passed directly to speed up things. So in reality, this happens to speed up the things. The discussions may not be in detail, okay, and bill may get passed very quickly. The disadvantages of this system are in reality, committee might be formed to intentionally keep the bill out of the parliament, and that way it also seems like work is being done. Okay. Then next, this all process we have this thing we have done it, but now there is additional over here, the addition of stakeholders, analysis opinions, they are added now, which was not the case in previous flow chart. Then generates report, proposals for amendments, then presented to all member of parliament and public. So this step was also not introduced previously. So this is why I was telling you, do not ignore the previous lessons. Now next, it is unpopular and controversial laws. Now if the law is passed and if it is unpopular and controversial, what we do? Then again there will be a protest, then there will be again rallies, then there will be again some changes in those laws. If it is unpopular and controversial means it might be favorable for one group of people and it might not be for the second. If you remember the example of street hawkers, do you remember? We have learned this from the textbook. Now the small vendors who want to sell all their goods on roads, huh? By that way only, that is only their way of earning. But those footpaths, those get blocked for the common citizens. So that in that example, we have learned that the law, if it is passed for the street hawkers not to be sell their goods on the road, then that will be unpopular or unfavorable for that street hawkers. But it will be favorable for the common people who want to walk on the footpath. Okay. So unjust laws have been opposed. You have seen this through history and you see this in everyday life. You tend to oppose if teacher or your parent has made a rule that you think is unfair. When does a person find a rule unfair? When he or she feels it against his, her, or her opinion. This is the case I was talking about the street hawkers. Huh? What do people do when they have to follow rules that they find unreasonable? They follow it resentfully for some time. Resentfully means unwillingly, because it is forced on them. Like you might means come across every day nowadays because exam days are going on, so your parents might be asking you to study for long hours, huh? But unwillingly you are following those instructions. So that is resentfully. But ultimately, some brave people go against the rule and oppose it. That is what Gandhiji did against the British and Rosa Parks did in the US. If you remember the story of Rosa Parks in the book, okay? Closer to home and today's times, that is what you would do. Say if your parents made a rule that you were not allowed to any TV or computer or mobile time at all during your holidays. Moreover, rules are also fought against when they are applicable to one group of people and not another. The marginalized group, that is the group that feels the rule is unfair to them, would like to get that rule changed. Now, in the example of this street hawker, who is the marginalized group? The marginalized group will be of street hawkers, correct? Because that law is not in favor of them. In a democracy, we strive towards the making rules in a manner that it makes equal to all concerned parties. However, some of our laws have come from colonial times and need a change. Why there is a need of this change? Because those situations were different, that environment was different. But now, with the modern period, there are so many changes, and according to these changes, we have to change our traditional ways, we have to change our traditional laws. Hmm? With new technology, more liberalism economically and socially, the way we live our lives is changing. New laws have to adopt new lifestyle. This requires active participation from the public at large. Okay? So public participation is also very much important. So we can participate in one of many ways, keep track of what MP who have elected is doing, he or she participating in parliamentary committees, which committee he or she a part of. Did the elected MP raise and represent your opinion or an opinion that is equal for all? Which bills were passed and what do they mean to all? So these are the things which you have to keep it in mind. All this information is available online when your view is not represented and the public wants a change or addition, deletion in law. We can raise our voices through presentation to the committee, discussion with our representatives, respond to calls for public opinion when a bill or report is presented. Protest for government to take action. Despite this process, there are laws that are either unpopular and controversial or both. What is the role of the judiciary? What it is? Quickly. So I'm sharing you the PPT with you. So whoever breaks the law, as per the rule of law, whoever is violating the law can be punished. So these are the three aspects of breaking the rule: laying out the law, enforcement. Now, first thing is dispute resolution. Do you remember disputes between the states, then dispute between the citizens, and dispute between citizen or state or citizen or government, correct? Then judicial review, and then upholding the laws. Upholding the laws means whatever laws are made or laid down, they have to keep a check whether they are followed or no, they have to support it, correct? So this is all what it is, the three main functions. So first is registering complaint, so that way there is again a process, huh? And the most important thing from this lesson you have to remember is that it is an independent system. And you know very well what is independence means. We have discussed this many times. Huh? So it is independence from the other government branches, that is legislative and executive branches. Correct? So that is very, very important part of this lesson. Then there is a structural hierarchy through which the courts can function. Then we have studied the different courts. On district level, it is a district court. On state level, it is high court. and on central level or on country level it is a Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is at the apex, correct? It is the top most system, and laws passed by the Supreme Court has to be followed by the lower courts, correct? And then we have learned about civil and criminal laws. So there we have discussed some examples which are covered in the civil case, and there are which are covered under the criminal. Now you are well aware what are the civil cases and what are the criminal cases. So civil cases means it might be means harmful to some individual, correct? And on the contrary, criminal can be harmful to the society. Yes. Then what is the punishment in civil court? He might be warned, there could be a monetary this thing charge for him, but in criminal he might be sentenced to jail or imprisonment. Okay. And then next is access to the legal system, time taken to process cases. Okay, now what is an independent judiciary? That we have learned all. Then concept of independence. So it is not dependent on executive and legislatives. Okay, so these are the main points. I will be sharing you the another PPT also in which there are important points covered in this. Okay, these are question answers. Let's have a quick look. What is judicial review? The parliament has the power to make laws, but the judiciary has to check whether they are in line with the basic structure of the constitution. If the judiciary thinks a law passed by the parliament is going against the constitution, it can strike it down. So this answer also most of you have written it correct. Okay. What is the structure of the courts in India? That we have discussed all three courts, district court, and what is the use of their level wise courts there? If the verdict or if the decision given by the lower court is not in favor of you, there can be appeal. You can go to the higher courts. That is the main means benefit of all these levels of courts in our country, correct? So if you remember, there is a diagram of triangle, and in that triangle, it is a horizontal division of those courts is mentioned to us in the book. Okay, the top court, as we all know, it is called Supreme Court, and it is in Delhi. There are 24 high courts. High courts are on state level or level. Okay, and why there are only 24 high courts, though there are 29 states? Because some states they share a common high court, and they have given us the example. Punjab, Haryana share a common high court. Then Assam, Nagaland, Mizoram, and Arunachal Pradesh they share a common high court. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also. So there are 24 high courts, though we are 29 states. Okay, then this is about the judge of that respective courts. Then based on this, we will directly move on to the question answer. Does anyone have access to the courts? So do we have? Yes, we have. But again, there is a process what we have learned in understanding criminal justice system in India, correct? In the next lesson, we have. But can we directly go to the court? No. Again, we have to follow the system, correct? We have to follow the process. Okay, now based on this, if I want to show you, I will move on directly to the question answer. Okay, this is also very important part. What is public interest litigation? What is public interest litigation? So there are times when a lower income group, this PPT is important. I'm sharing you with right now. Read it. I'm reading with you. There are times when a lower income group or a group that is situated far away from the courts cannot access the courts for one of the many reasons. Means one can be distance, another can be time, third can be monetary things. Means it can't be affordable to them because they are poor. Then for these people who are low income people, or for whom they are not getting justice for their own problem, so how those cases should be registered with the system? So there is an organization or activist who work from them or on behalf of them. These are called the public interest litigation. These are an important part of the way of our country functions. Huh? So this is also the important part of the lesson. Okay. Now PIL have led to justice for those who cannot fight for themselves and even to changes in laws. Some PILs might even lead to changes in constitution.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.